Liam's leaving gig party came about because he was off to Japan for to teach for at least a year, and in the end it was 2 years, I think. And so we thought, well, a proper see-off would be a good gig by us. Of course, we had to practice for this gig that he knew nothing about because it was going to be a surprise. So on the pretext of a gig the following week or later that week, we sort of started rehearsing, just telling him, oh, we've got this other gig, this other place. And Liam, being Liam, doesn't ask a lot of questions about the logistics, so it's quite easy to make up a story about some gig that was never going to happen.
Well, Liam was stunned, as far as I remember. I don't think he'd really caught wind of what was happening. I think he'd probably caught wind of some other things, but he just turned up and we were there and it was a big surprise and he was asked to play.
I don't remember a lot about it at all, in fact. But I remember getting up there and not being able to play anything.
Can I just say, I'm really, really nervous because I haven't got over the shock of walking in here.
But musically, it probably only comes second to the Abingdon gig in terms of classic Shorty's musical performances. But I think, it was a good evening and we had fun. I don't think that I thought it was the end when Liam left. Although, of course, he writes the majority of songs and is very, very talented. Because I don't think he thought it was the end, that he was going to Japan. But that was fine, it was groovy, but it wasn't going to mean that he was leaving the Blackwells full time.
He would still be contributing, he would still record with us when he came back from Japan, he would still send us tapes of new songs he'd written in Japan. It was just a matter of finding another guitarist, basically.
I obviously put on a very brave face to the other guys and just said, yep, cool, no worries, we'll bring in other people and carry on. But it is not easy to bring in other people, as we had found before when we tried to recruit people. And in all, I said to people in my more outside the Shorty circle, I said to people that I didn't know if it would be the end.
So we started that long process of interviewing people on Friday nights in pubs. I think Aidan would place an ad in NME or making music, or one of the music papers for guitarists, or maybe he would see ad for guitarists offering their services, whichever way round. Anyway, we'd get in touch and we'd agree all to go out to drink to ask him about themselves. Technical ability was never really that much of an issue because if we reckoned if you were good enough, if you thought you were good enough to put an ad in a paper, you were certainly good enough for us because none of us could play.
I thought, well, I'll sort of come along and meet the guys. In fact, it was Aidan and it was Dan, and we met up and went to a pub in the north of Oxford Street and had a few beers, discussed a few things and what have you, and it seems I was rolled into the band without playing a note.
I think I felt it was time to sort of move on and concentrate more on playing my own material, but I did feel I enjoyed the experience of playing with the band, and it is a good experience to sort of play together. Also, a couple of times since then I've joined in some of the gigs singing songs, which I've quite enjoyed. In a way I've enjoyed it more because I think basically I enjoy singing more than perhaps being in the background playing keyboards.
I think we'd always thought we'd get a keyboard player because Catherine had always played with us, and although we were doing originals, there's always scope for a keyboard. It just broadens out the sound. So I think it was the same process of finding a guitarist.
We then arranged the meeting, and I went down to London one night, met up just by Oxford Circus it was, and we all met in a pub, met the rest of the guys, and well, I just thought they were just a great bunch of guys, and we took it from there.
We decided we would do a 7-year anniversary gig in February of '98 as a hook to try and get people to come along. The only problem was Saul was ill at the time, so we had to overcome the obstacle of getting somebody else in who could drum for us.
I knew a chap, Ravi, who was a very good friend of my brother's, my younger brother, and had played with my brother in lots of bands up all around London and up in the Midlands as well, where I'm from. And I gave Ravi a ring, and he was on for it.
The playing that first rehearsal, playing through Stepping Stone, where he could get the tom fills going, that was such a buzz.
First gig that I did with the Blackwells, and I quite enjoyed it. It wasn't bad. I wore a wig, dressed in red, and I didn't think too much about the Blackwells after I did that gig. I thought I'd do that gig and then that it would be a one-off.